Mike, I'll just give you the floor on this. How would you describe the Patriots' position on their quarterback situation right this minute?
Greeny, speaking to people around the team, I was trying to think of the best way to relay that to you. And I had my TV remote next to me, and I said, oh, this might work. I'm pointing to the pause button, Greeny. Essentially, this is what they're doing. They're pressing pause on the quarterback situation with the idea, let's get through the draft and then assess at that point. They pick at 15, likely going to be out of range for any of the top quarterbacks unless they trade up. But think about the last time they really hit on a quarterback. Back in 2014, it was Jimmy Garoppolo, late second round. A reminder that sometimes the answer can come beyond that first tier of quarterbacks.
Super quickly, are you telling me that the idea of trading for Jimmy Garoppolo before the draft is off the table? Is that not part of the conversation?
I think it's fair to say, Greeny, that it's off the table for now. Things can always change. The Patriots don't seem inclined right now to meet whatever price the 49ers would be looking for to trade Jimmy Garoppolo.
Okay, that's really well done. Mike Reiss, outstanding as always. Thank you. And the notes column yesterday, as always, was fantastic. Mike Reiss live in Foxborough. Let me bring the rest of the crew back into the conversation here. And Mel, let me start with you. He said they will hit the pause button through the draft. They pick at 15. In your mind, how would you assess the likelihood that one of the big quarterbacks in this draft is available at 15?
I'd be shocked. I think Carolina has to get one of these quarterbacks. I think Justin Fields would be the logical spot there, landing spot for him. We'll have to see what Atlanta does at 4. Do they take Kyle Pitts or Trey Lance? I think by 8, all those quarterbacks are gone. So I think what Mike Reiss said, are they going to move up to do it or wait? Then you get into the Kyle Trask, Florida, Davis Mills, Stanford. You think about where we are with Kellen Mond, Texas A&M, or Jamie Newman, Wake Forest and Georgia, where he opted out. So I think you look at the quarterbacks. If they find one of those hidden gems, fine, but I don't think at 15 a quarterback's going to slide down that far.
Let me just throw a thought at you here, Mel, because you just mentioned it. Atlanta is sort of an X factor sitting at number 4. Matt Ryan's going to be there for a while. If they don't take a quarterback, I'm looking at Jacksonville, the Jets, San Francisco, and Carolina. That's 4 teams you've just named ahead of New England. There are 5 quarterbacks in this mix. So who else would be taking one if Atlanta doesn't?
Well, you have to think about what Denver could do. We talked about the Bears. Somebody can jump in there, maybe even ahead of Carolina, and get a quarterback. Is Carolina going to move up to ensure that they get that quarterback that they want? So I think by the time we get to pick 8, there's going to be a lot of action with these quarterbacks. That feeding frenzy on quarterbacks is going to be fast and furious.
Dan, if they don't make a substantial move, what are they? What is Bill Belichick looking at?
The bottom of the barrel in their division when it comes to quarterback talent. I mean, by the night 1 of the NFL draft, this is a team that within their division is going to be looking at the Buffalo Bills and having Josh Allen. They'll be looking at the Miami Dolphins having Tua Tagovailoa and likely the New York Jets having Zach Wilson. So you're talking about one of the better young quarterbacks in the NFL in Josh. Tua, who's very promising last year, the 6th pick of the draft, or the 5th pick, and then Zach Wilson, who everybody loves this year, in the 2nd pick. And they have Cam, who's older, hasn't played good football in 2 years in the NFL, coming off of a very down year. And so the team that for 20 years stood at the mountaintop when it came to quarterback, at least performance, you are going to be staring at their division looking at a very long decade if they go into this draft and don't find a guy that they believe is their future.
Nick, I mean, they spent a fortune in free agency, both sides of the ball. They get all these defensive players back who opted out last year. Can they win, and significant winning, if they don't address the quarterback situation?
I mean, I'm leaning towards no because of what I saw from Cam Newton last year. But to offer the positive spin on this is Cam came back after the coronavirus and wasn't the same. So if you believe that it has taken some time to return to closer to what he was at the beginning of last year, but you remember the beginning of last season, we thought Cam was going to have a special year. He was playing well. We had that tight game against Seattle where he was a yard from winning the game. So you could argue adding these defensive players will take the pressure off of Cam, bringing in another tight end and improving that offensive talent around him, and hopefully him coming back healthier could make them competitive. But I wouldn't bet on it. It seems like what we saw from Cam Newton is probably the Cam Newton that we can expect going forward.
This is going to be one of the most interesting storylines of the draft. If there is a quarterback sitting there, who's going to come up and get that guy, and will it be New England? He's never done it before. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.